The New York Jets are now on the board.
Okay, Jet fans, Darrell Revis.
Being in New York has been one of the greatest blessings.
Saks Fifth Avenue ran that one right now.
The New York Jets select.
Welcome to another episode of NFL Draft Preview. We're coming at you hot and heavy, 7-round mock draft right before the NFL Draft takes place. All right, this is how we started, Dane. Pick number 4. You have an 11th hour change. You had Kayvon Thibodeau on your 7-round mock draft to the Athletic. We're going Ike Ekwonu on NFL Draft Preview. Why the change, and what do you like about Ike Ekwonu to the Jets?
Yeah, you know, I'm not thinking Kayvon Thibodeau at 4. I'm not sure it's going to happen. And I think they'd love to get a pass rusher, but is Jermaine Johnson is 4 too early for him? I think that's the question. And if it is, then we're looking at offensive line, because I don't think they go corner. And if they don't go corner and they don't go Kayvon Thibodeau, then we're really looking at offensive line or Jermaine Johnson. But with Ike Ekwonu sitting there from NC State, a guy that can be your tackle, has a ton of potential, long-term, has a lot of things going for him that you feel like as he gets more reps, as the technique and the awareness develop, he's only going to get better and better and better. So Ike Ekwonu, that's my pick right now at number 4. I mean, ask me in 10 minutes, maybe that'll change. But, I think for right now, let's go with Ike Ekwonu to the Jets at number 4. I think that there's so many different directions they could go here, and offensive tackle, it's definitely one of those directions that's on the board for them.
So that brings us to pick number 10. You have the Jets selecting Jermaine Johnson, who you said you could see as pick number 4, but if you're Joe Douglas, are you sweating bullets and crossing your fingers that Jermaine Johnson is there, or do you feel pretty confident that he'll be available, and what does he add to this defense?
Yeah, I think that you're feeling good about your options, because even if Jermaine Johnson isn't there, I think they feel pretty good about one of the receivers that would be there. So I think they prefer to go pass rush. Again, it all starts up front for that scheme. They want to get more disruption. Jermaine Johnson's a good player, and it would not shock me if he went 4. I think that's at least there's at least a chance that could happen. So pass rusher at 4, still get a guy that you really, really like at number 10. And I think the Jets are in good shape addressing both the offensive and defensive lines with those 2 top 10 picks.
Pick number 35, you're going wide receiver. Wide receiver on the board, Jahan Dotson. Maybe not the biggest guy, although you love his catch radius. What does he add to the group, and what do you think about the height discrepancy between those 3 guys and Corey Davis?
Yeah, it's certainly fair to talk about the height. It's not there, but I will say that I think that Jahan Dotson has probably the largest catch radius of any sub 5'11" receiver I've scouted. Maybe the best ball skills too. I mean, it's really fascinating to watch him. The tracking skills, that my ball mentality, that I'm going to go up there and get it. Jahan Dotson, definitely one to watch there.
And then the Jets have pick 38. Somebody that we really haven't talked about, Kyler Gordon out of Washington. What's been the pre-draft arc with Kyler Gordon? Felt like everybody was extremely excited to see how he would test. Didn't meet expectations, it feels like. And what kind of player is he? And do you think that he's a good fit for what the Jets offer from a schematic standpoint?
Yeah, and I think with Kyler Gordon, he's average size, just under 6 foot, 195 pounds. Ran a 4.52 at the combine, which it was a little bit of a letdown based on the hype that he kept hearing. And but he goes to the pro day, stands on that 4.52, did not run the 40 again, but the vertical 39.5, short shuttle under 4 seconds, 3-cone 6.67, which is just unbelievable. The fluidity that he plays with, the toughness that he plays with. I think that's something that will appeal to the Jets and how he would fit their scheme.
Moving on to pick 69 in the 3rd round, you have the Jets addressing the offensive side of the ball, more interior, Luke Goedeke.
A fascinating backstory. Started, kind of enrolled at a Division III school, and kind of just walked under the football team after high school. Bet on himself. Transferred up to Central Michigan, but I think he gives you that position versatility where you think he could play center, you think he could play guard. And so for a guy like Luke Goedeke, he's maybe your long-term center. He's a guy that's going to help you at guard, giving you that depth. And then in a pinch, he could kick out the tackle and give you some reps there. So that position flex is a big part of why I think Luke Goedeke is going to be a day 2 pick, possibly the Jets there in the 3rd round.
All right, so let's move on here. Kirby Joseph. What does Kirby Joseph add to that room, and what is he like as a prospect?
range, speed. He was a one-year starter at Illinois, kind of a little bit off the radar, and he was able to get on the field as a senior this past year, and he just continued making plays. I really do like him for the Jets scheme and what they'd like to do on defense, especially in that back half.
6 picks after 111. You have him going back to the offense with a tight end, Charlie Kohler. All right, so with Charlie Kohler, what does he add that maybe the Jets don't have right now, and with CJ Uzomah and Tyler Conklin?
Yeah, I think he's more of a depth piece. He's a guy that's not really going to threaten defenses vertically, but he's really good in contested situations. He's a guy that plays through contact. Tough, smart, competitive, the type of guy that I think this coaching staff and Joe Douglas would really like at the position.
All right, so the Jets have 2 fifth-round picks as well. Let's start with the first one, pick 146. You have the Jets adding Eric Johnson out of Missouri State.
Yeah, this is my highest graded non-combine player, and I think it's someone that really put himself in the draftable range for teams with what he did at the NFLPA Collegiate Bowl and then what he did at the Senior Bowl. This guy can, really help us on the defensive line, be a depth piece, but that also has a little bit upside where, maybe down the road he could compete for a starting job.
So this is how we're going to wrap up this mock draft. Tyler Beatty, all right, 5'8", 197 in your draft guide. What do you like about the fit between Tyler Beatty and what the New York Jets want to run?
He just gives them a lot of options. He's so good catching the ball out of the backfield. He's a guy you want to get in space because he's not the biggest, as you said. He's under 200 pounds, so he's not the biggest. But he can make guys miss. He's really, really good in the screen game. Give you a little bit of versatility with what he brings on when he's on the football field, and be just a nice compliment to Carter and the rest of the guys in that backfield.
And that's how we wrap up a 7-round mock draft, the final episode before the draft. Remember, we're going to have a draft review. But Dane, thanks a lot. We'll see you next weekend. Enjoy the draft.
Thanks, Ethan. Enjoy the draft as well.